Mike McCarthy tries to get the Packers back to the playoffs for the 9th straight year. Hugh Jackson in season number 2, looking for win number 2. Let's go downstairs to Jennifer Hale. Hi, Jen.
Well, hi, Tom. The Packers' mission today is to keep playoff hopes alive in case Aaron Rodgers is medically cleared to play against the Carolina Panthers next week. A bone density scan will determine that later this week. Doctors have got to make sure that collarbone is healed enough to sustain a hit. Throwing's no problem. Rodgers done that all week in practice, and he has done it well. Now, one thing the Packers are going to have to keep in mind, I just spoke with special teams coordinator Ron Zook, and he said because of the cold temperatures and the winds whipping in off the lake, this ball is probably going to travel about 10 yards less today, Tom.
All right, Jennifer, thank you very much. Cleveland won the toss and deferred to getting the football in the second half. This is Trevor Davis, and he is dropped right at the 25-yard line, and here comes Brett Hundley. In his 3rd year out of UCLA, a 5th-round pick in 2015, playing in his 9th game. It's his 7th start since replacing the injured Aaron Rodgers back in early October. The 84 passing yards, that came in a win, the fewest by any Green Bay quarterback in a game since 1984.
Go.
Going to throw it on first down, and that is Jordy Nelson. Those completions from Hundley to Nelson have been few and far between. That'll be a gain of 12 on first down. And we look at the rest of the Green Bay lineup as they are going to huddle. It looked like they would be in hurry up for a minute. Spriggs continues to start at right tackle for Brian Bulaga. And Williams rushed for his first 100-yard game in the victory last week against Tampa Bay.
Green 18, green 10.
This is Williams. And the one thing about this Cleveland defense, Chris, despite the fact that they have not won a game, this Cleveland defense is 10th overall in the National Football League.
Yeah, they play hard. They have great communication up front. Javon Coley, Ogunjobi have to be strong today with Danny Shelton missing. Joe Schobert, 3rd in the league in tackles at 111. And Kai Nakua getting a start at safety today, a chance to make some plays.
Both Schobert and Kirksey, the other linebacker on the other side, ranked in the top 5 in the NFL in tackles so far this year. Second down and 10. And the catch is made by Randall Cobb, who was not targeted one single time in the game against Tampa Bay a week ago, in the first 3rd down of the afternoon upcoming for Green Bay.
So I like the play calling of Mike McCarthy to get his young quarterback in a little bit of rhythm. Relatively easy throws and easy reads gives them a manageable 3rd down. Greg Williams does like the blitz right here in these type of situations. This is where Brett Hundley, if you do play any type of man, can't hurt you with his legs on the scramble as Cobb's at running back.
So the Packers have been the best team in the NFL, the only team in the NFL with 6 touchdowns on their opening possession in a game. 3rd down and 6. And they dump it off to Cobb, and he'll be about a yard short of the first down. Nice play there by Christian Kirksey, the 4th-year linebacker out of Iowa.
Well, they have the blitz on right here up the middle, and the screen is a good set. But watch what Kirksey does. Number 58 is going to drop back. And I love, look, you don't have to take on guys to be effective. Use your advantage. His advantage was his speed and quickness against a big offensive lineman. Does a good job of changing direction and making an excellent open field tackle. Don't take on a big guy if you don't have to. Use your speed. He did. Was able to stop him short of the first down. Well done.
Now Jabril Peppers, a talented safety out of the University of Michigan, is inactive this week. And here's a fake. They snap it to the up man, and it is a first down. How about that right from the get-go? And that is a safety, Jermaine Whitehead, who took the direct snap and carries it across midfield, and that's a first down. How about that?
Well, let's tell your team that's playing for the playoffs, right? And Jermaine Whitehead's going to come across the right as your personal protector, and this is a very nice play. Running back skill, using his stiff arm to get to the corner and get the first down. The Browns are actually in pretty decent position to cover this, understanding your responsibilities, but you get stiff arm like that. Whitehead keeping the drive alive.
Green 18, green 10.
And run it on first down, and this is Williams. Boy, how about the back-to-back weeks for Jamal Williams? Remember now, Aaron Jones had become their primary running back, the rookie out of UTEP. Started 4 games, rushed for over 100 yards in 2 of those 4 starts, and he injured his knee. He was out for a couple of weeks, and Williams steps in and puts together back-to-back games of better than 120 yards from scrimmage. Had the monster game against the Steelers of 135 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then we mentioned he rushed for 113 along with a touchdown last week. And he will get it again. And he is a bruising runner. Look at him just dragging tacklers along with him before they finally put him down close to the 39-yard line, which brings up 3rd down in less than 3.
So here's the problem I don't understand, okay? You know that this is a running formation. I have my middle linebacker playing here at safety depth and not attacking the line of scrimmage. So until he gets up to the line of scrimmage, you got Jamal Williams, who is a bruising, powerful running back like you mentioned. He's 6 yards into the backfield. Now, I know that's a call from the sidelines, and it's a call, quite frankly, that I have no idea why in that situation when you know what you're getting from this team.
Defensive coordinator is Greg. That's with 2 G's. Greg Williams. Been around the league for a long, long time. And now Hundley rolling on 3rd down. And beautifully defended that time by the Brownies. Carl Nassib, second-year defensive end in hot pursuit of Hundley. So it brings up another 4th down. And it looks like the Packers are going to go for it this time.
He's looking for Jordy Nelson. He's running here. Kendrick stays in. There's nobody in the area. So this is a miscommunication on the Packers where there was nobody in the area to throw the football. So either Hundley was wrong or Nelson was wrong. Big 4th and 1. Jamal Williams. Fight it out. Always alert play action in these scenarios.
Well, we have an extra offensive lineman in Justin McCray checks in. And they also have the fullback off to the right side of Ripkowski, and naturally they'll throw it. And Cobb has a 1st down, and he's run out of bounds by McCourty inside the 30-yard line. So twice, once on a fake punt, and now on a 4th and 1, a throw to convert.
This is just a communication between Cobb and Hundley because the offensive lineman will fire out. But when you have this much space in this little time, you have to be up here and press. If not, this is just an automatic read between the quarterback and receiver. Easy pitch and catch, get the guy in space and let him get the ball for a 1st down.
Solid start for Hundley. 4 of his first 5. They've all been very safe passes so far.
Got to press that though, Tom. You know what I mean? You got to get up there and challenge
about it. Williams looking for running room and none there.
You know, no running room there, but he fought to get hidden yards, right? And you're talking about down here where field goal distance is, or the range is probably at the 30-yard line. With that little extra push and effort, he at least got them into field goal range, at least from what we judged in the pregame.
There's one of the great names in Packer history and Ohio State history, in John Brockington. Williams, the first Packer rookie with better than 120 yards from scrimmage in back-to-back weeks since Brockington did it in 71. Hundley will stutter step and wide open and into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Jamal Williams. Blown coverage there by the Browns. And that is his 7th touchdown on an opening possession by Green Bay this year. The only team in the league that can say that.
So what we have is 1 safety high. It's a zone defense and 3 deep. And when you play 3 deep, that means everybody is responsible to be as deep as the deepest. That's a zone pressure with Kirksey coming off. McCourty gets caught up inside. He does not drop back and get deep as the deepest. Easy pitch and catch for 6 points.
So the Packers on their opening possession, they fake a punt. They go twice on 4th down and cash in for the 7-0 lead. What a start for Hundley. 5 of 6, 58 yards, including the touchdown pass to Williams. And a 7-0 lead on the 7th opening drive touchdown this year for the Packers, most in the NFL. So now Kaiser and company will try and answer for Cleveland. 21-year-old out of Cleveland, Toledo, Ohio, rather, just west of Cleveland. And Matthew Days, a rookie out of NC State, waits on the kick from Mason Crosby. Short kick, who wants it? And Days picks it up at the 8. And he'll be wrestled down right at the 15-yard line by Whitehead. He was the one who had the fake punt a minute ago.
Anytime you have a zone pressure, this area is supposed to be covered, this area is supposed to be covered, this area is supposed to be covered. That's covered. Nakua is going to come up right here and jump around. So that tells me that McCourty has to be deep as the deepest in any type of one safety high look. He's jumping around. Davante Adams has 3 guys covering him. Jamal Williams has 0 guys covering him. The patience of Huntley to buy time with his feet was able to find a receiver downfield wide open. A mental bust by Greg Williams' defense.
So here comes Kaiser, 2-year starter at Notre Dame, taking him the 2nd round of this year's draft. He's looking down the field on the first play of the game, and he got it to Josh Gordon, who steps out of bounds, and Gordon playing in just his 2nd game in over 1,000 days with a big play on the very first play.
Well, he's a big-time player, right? And it's amazing what he's done being out of football 3-4 years, whatever it is. But just a nice crossing post. Excellent job by the offensive line, because that route takes a long time to develop downfield. Deshaun Kaiser, when his feet and shoulder are married to the target, that's when his accuracy is best. He put that one right on the numbers.
It's incredible. 1,077 days passed in between NFL games for Josh Gordon. Crowell was never tackled, and he stayed on his feet, and he gets inside the 45. And we check in for the first time today with our good friend back in L.A., Carissa Thompson. Hi, Carissa.
Hello, Tom. We head to Carolina. First drive of the game for the Panthers, and this is how Jonathan Stewart wants to start his day. He rips out the longest run of his career. That 60 yards is also the longest run the Vikings have given up this season. Panthers lead early, 7-0. Tom?
It's a big one for both of those teams. A chance today, by the way, for the Minnesota Vikings to clinch the NFC North. They'd have to win and have losses from both the Packers and the Lions. This is Isaiah Crowell. Cuts it back to the inside. He's down to the 41-yard line. It brings up 3rd down and 5. Kaiser leads the NFL with 15 interceptions, 5 of those that have occurred inside the red zone. He's lost 5 fumbles. But there are some things to like about Deshaun Kaiser.
I think he's gotten better as the year has gone on. I just think he reverts back to some bad mistakes. He holds the ball too long. Obviously the turnovers. But Deshaun's got a future in this league. I just don't know if it's the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns moving ahead next year.
Well, that was the hot topic of conversation at John Dorsey's press conference on Friday. And Kaiser can run, and he's going to get a first down. Yes, he is inside the 35. So Kaiser, who can run too now, he's run for over 300 yards so far this year.
Oh, this is really good patience right here by Deshaun Kaiser. The pressure's going to come from up top. And I like the fact that he moves well into the pocket, steps up into it, then he takes any throwing lane that he might have and turn it into a running lane, and understands the yardage that he needs and is able to pick it up with his feet on the first down. That puts a lot of pressure on a defense, and quite frankly, we'll see that from both number 7s today as we move forward in this football game.
Well, Mike Phipps back in 1973 is the only quarterback in Browns history to rush for more yards in a season than Kaiser has so far. Now he throws, rolling out, and that's another first down, as the catch is made by Randall Telford, the 2nd-year tight end out of USC. Crowell was their leading rusher, and Duke Johnson, a solid player. Of course, they're without Big Joe Thomas. He went down against Tennessee, and so Drango continues to play at left tackle.
Of course, you were talking about Njoku as a guy that's going to benefit from the return of Josh Gordon, because he's a tight end that can stretch the field. A lot of times they'll run him in a slot, and you have to pay such attention to Gordon that Njoku can work in some one-on-one matchups.
Hugh Jackson has come under incredible fire this week in the local press as Crowell continues to keep those legs moving. Hugh Jackson, at 52 years old, a Los Angeles native, owns the dubious record for the worst start of 18 by any head coach in NFL history. 1 win, 27 losses. John McKay lost his first 26 games as a coach in Tampa Bay before winning 2 in a row.
He knows better than anybody, and he's been quoted in the papers. He told us he knows this is a judgment business on wins and losses. The one thing you can take heart in is that his guys do play hard.
Kaiser, a bullet to the end zone, and it is a touchdown for Josh Gordon. His first since the 2014 season. Boy, if this young man can keep it together off the field, and that is a monumental task so far, he is some kind of player.
This is what you call skinny post, and I love the timing developed between Kaiser and Gordon off the play action. This is where DeShone Kizer is throwing him open in the trust to deliver the ball to throw him open, as opposed for waiting him to come open. And Josh Gordon is only getting better and better and more strength, and apparently the stars are bright for him in the sunshine.
Wow.
Look at him.
Future
Celebrate.
so bright, I got to wear shades, right? Point after is good by Zane Gonzalez. How about this? Both quarterbacks coming out swinging. 7-7 in the dog pound. Nearly 4 years to the day, a touchdown for Josh Gordon in the NFL. The coach handed him his sunglasses. Well, he's got him in the hand, and now he's got him on, celebrating the touchdown. You know, we mentioned that Green Bay has scored 7 touchdowns, the only team in the NFL on its opening possession of a game. They are also the only team in the NFL that has allowed 7 touchdowns on the opponent's opening drive of the game. So this is nothing new for the Pack.
More importantly, I think for Browns fans, you do see the fight that this Browns team has, and encouraged by what Josh Gordon brings to this team, and confidence to DeShone Kizer.
Trevor Davis returns across the 20 up to the 24-yard line. Much has been made of Brett Hundley, where he has played 16 quarters of football at Lambeau Field and not thrown a single touchdown. A 1-3 record. 2 games on the road, 4 touchdowns without a single interception. Had a big game in Pittsburgh in a losing effort.
Well, I think Mike McCarthy had to get creative and basically change his whole mindset offensively and philosophically of what he wants to do with Brett as quarterback, as opposed to what I deem the best quarterback in the National Football League, Aaron Rodgers.
Again, it's Randall Cobb in the Green Bay backfield. And they fake it to him, and hello. My, oh my.
Nate Orchard coming strong. This is really a good call by Greg Williams. I'm going to show you what they're going to do. You're going to get a safety coming up, creeping at the top of your screen right here. Now that forces everybody to slide, leaving Nate Orchard wide open, untouched. There's no play fake there because it's in Nate Orchard as a free run at the quarterback. It was brought up because the offensive line had to adjust to the safety coming on the blitz off the top.
Orchard, a one-time starter that got hurt last year. Now his spot's been taken over by the rookie Myles Garrett. This is Randall Cobb, and just swarmed by Cleveland defenders. 3rd down and forever coming up. McCourty on the stop. Got help from Holmes. And let's check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Tom, Brett Hundley got the job done last week, but the Packers wanted to give him a little more help this week. So quarterbacks coach Alex Van Pelt told me they have actually shrunk the playbook for him today. Fewer plays, but they hope that he can concentrate on doing a little bit less better. They're going to make up for it with the creative play calling we saw in that first series.
It's good stuff, Jen. Thank you very much. And Jennifer reporting earlier on that it'll be a bone density scan, which could determine if Aaron Rodgers is able to return next week against Carolina. Crossing pattern, and Cobb will get up to the 28-yard line, but it's a 3-and-out as this drive starts on the sack by Orchard. And the Browns will get the football back with under 3 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Now, Duke Johnson has not been returning punts this year. They took a look at Days back there before the game. You were paying attention, didn't look too good. This is the tricky end of the field as far as the wind is concerned.
Yeah, I don't know if he had all the confidence in the world. He did do a nice job filling in for Jabril Peppers last week in San Diego. Little different conditions here. Excuse me, Los Angeles, not San Diego. Little different conditions here.
18 returns in Johnson's career. This ball is going to come back towards midfield. And a fair catch, good field position for the Browns at the 31. 7-7. 2:17 to play in the opening quarter in Cleveland. Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. John Dorsey just named the team's general manager 2 days ago. Dorsey took over a Kansas City franchise that had gone 2-14 in 2012. He brought in Andy Reid as his head coach. The next year they went 11-5. Of course, he made the trade for Alex Smith, which was a key component. Look at some of the general managers just going back to 1999 that have come through here. Well, the quarterback position was the one that was talked about the most at the press conference on Friday. And now down the field again. And it's incomplete with an eye on Rashard Higgins. And we have an eye on Carissa Thompson in L.A.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this Lions game for you guys. Packers fans want to know what's going on here. They were up 7-0 in the first, but Tampa Bay responds. Doug Martin scores on a goal line carry, all tied up here at 7. Tom?
It's a big game for the Lions. If they can find a way to beat a downtrodden Tampa Bay team and then beat Chicago next week, they're right back in the hunt in this thing for a wild card spot.
And Matthew Stafford playing with that bruised hand. Question a lot of things about Matthew. The toughness isn't one of them.
That's for sure. Throw, and the catch is made by Corey Coleman. He was a #1 pick a year ago, you may remember, out of Baylor.
It's another guy that can help the growth of a young quarterback. You add Josh Gordon to the mix and Corey Coleman. These guys are supposed to be 1 and 2 wide receivers, and they haven't been healthy or been available. You can see if DeShone Kizer, the more he works with these guys in practice, the better he's going to get as far as rhythm and timing.
Yeah, John Dorsey talked at length about how he thought it was so important to bring in the right, not only the best quarterback that they could get, whether it was in the draft, whether it was free agency, whether it was a trade, and that turned out to be the case with Smith. But Kizer with a chance to prove that he belongs in that conversation. And he'll try and scramble for a first down, and he will be denied up to the 37-yard line. So the Browns will punt it like the Packers did on their second possession of the game.
Well, this is a good job of coverage right here on Josh Gordon. Now, Kizer is looking for Josh Gordon off the get-go right here, but it does a good job of taking him away, and Josh Gordon stops his route and doesn't work to get open for DeShone Kizer. So DeShone Kizer is forced to eat it. But that's just, again, getting back into the game and flow of the game and understanding now adjustments off the assignments. If the assignment goes bad, how do you adjust? And he'll get that back.
41st 3 and out for Cleveland this year. Only the Giants and Bears have gone 3 and out with more frequency. And how about this punt by Britton Colquitt? Will punt him inside the 10 down at the 7-yard line. Well done indeed by Colquitt. A touchdown for Williams. Gordon answers. We're even at 7. Back at First Energy Stadium along the lakefront. Lake Erie, downtown Cleveland, Ohio. And a nice start to this one. 7-7. Packers backed up on this third possession of the game. They scored on their first possession. Went 3 and out on the second, and this one starts from the 7-yard line.
Both young quarterbacks impressed. Kizer 4-5 for 72 yards and a touchdown. Hundley 7 and 8 for 72 yards and a touchdown.
58. Green 18. Get it done. 53. Blue 58. Look at that.
First time we've seen Aaron Jones check into the game. Great penetration by Nassib behind the line of scrimmage. Boy, he's come to play today.
They have a nice little stunt game on right here where Nassib's going to shoot inside, and one thing he has is a great get off on the football. Then he gets himself skinny to make the open field tackle. Outstanding play by Nassib, avoiding the blocker. Again, when you don't have to take on big guys, Tom, don't take them on. Use your assets, your strengths, quickness, speed. Excellent hands.
Aaron Jones returned last week. He had missed a couple of games after knee surgery. Played on one play through 4 quarters. Then when Williams needed a blow in the overtime, they brought in Jones, and he had the game-winning touchdown into the opening quarter. We're tied at 7. One of the local treasures here in Cleveland, the house from the movie A Christmas Story.
I love that story. I remember when the dad got the leg lamp.
Oh, yeah.
On the box it said, "For Chile." It must be from France. That's great. All-time favorite movies.
First down, and Schobert on the stop. Bring up 3rd down now. As Rodgers has come in and been slammed to the deck on back-to-back plays.
You know, here's the problem right now. Green Bay is having a hard time adjusting to the movement of the defensive line in front 7 of the Cleveland Browns. They're slanting and angling, and they're being moving targets, and Green Bay has not adjusted to the moving targets presented by the Browns front.
There's a 3rd down and 12, and Huntley, good protection, looks down the field and nowhere close to the intended target, Devontae Adams. And now some shoving going on between Adams and Nakua, and a penalty flag has been thrown. Boy, if this is against Cleveland, this will be one of those like, you've got to be kidding. Bill Venovich is our referee today. Those guys are bundled up down there, brother. I want to tell you, it is some kind of cold on that field today.
After the play was over, personal foul. Defense number 43. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's about as ridiculous as it gets by Kai Nakua. That's the kind of play that you don't get up the rest of the game for some coaches in this league.
Well, I think this is what Hugh Jackson talks about. The difference between winning and losing is that the Green Bay Packers don't need help on offense. And I want to see what the penalty is here. And you just don't need to do that. And that's a little ticky-tack for my liking. I mean, they didn't really go at it. Now he bumped him with the helmet, and that was the problem. But to me, Tom, that's the difference between winning and losing. When you're an 0-12 football team and you keep drives alive by a self-inflicted stupid penalty, that's on you. Nobody else. They're not good enough to overcome that.
Well, Nakua is starting because of the injury to Jabril Peppers. Wow. They were going to have to punt from their own 8-yard line, where Justin Vogel, the punter, would have been standing in his own end zone. Instead, it's an automatic first down up to the 21. And give it to Aaron Jones, who cuts it back to the inside. A gain of close to 3, and let's check in once more with Carissa Thompson. Hi, Carissa.
Hi, Tom. Well, those two teams know about cold weather. How about this one up in Buffalo? Lake effect snow warning, 6 to 12 inches. Adam Vinatieri attempted a 33-yard field goal. Hard to tell. He did miss it. The Bills, like the Packers, very much alive in the playoff hunt here. Scoreless in the second, Tom.
Of course, that's that snow belt that starts on the east side of Cleveland, Ohio, and runs all the way up through Buffalo along the Great Lakes. And they're talking about that kind of snow coming here. Well, this is the kind of town, Chris, where sometimes you can be on the west side of town or downtown and there's no snow at all. And about 10 miles up the road on the east side of Cleveland along the lake, you've got 2 feet.
Yeah, heading up 90. Certainly can. A hitch in a hurry. Just like this Browns defense is hitting them in a hurry. Before they get started, they can get back to the line of scrimmage. Besides the one time when they were in a Tampa 2 when Schobert was 19 yards off the ball, they've been able to control that line of scrimmage with movement. Front 7 of the Browns.
Well, this defense has played so well. I mean, that's the one thing you can say about the Browns defense. And now free play, it looks like, for Huntley, or they blow the whistle. It's going to be a penalty against Cleveland that'll take it from 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 5.
Defense number 95. Unimpeded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
2 big mistakes here.
A good call by Huntley, though, to change up the cadence, the snap count. especially when we got emotion involved, and that defense does play with a lot of motion. A young guy like Myles Garrett wants to get off and get going and get to that quarterback. Smart.
Garrett, the #1 pick, of course, has played his entire rookie season with an injured right ankle that he injured just before the season opened. He's only playing in his 8th game of this season. Packers going to have to spend a timeout. Play clock down to 1. So a 3rd down and 5 upcoming. State of Indiana, one of the great states for basketball in this great country of ours. A doubleheader here, Purdue and Butler on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Notre Dame and Indiana, the nightcap at 2:30. Catch all the action on Fox or stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
Cleveland's done a good job throughout this different, and this is what Greg Williams is known for, the different types of blitz packages, and they're almost designed weekly. Usually you have a bunch of go-to blitzes, but he designs them against certain offenses or against certain quarterbacks. And the thing I like what the Browns do on defense as far as blitzes, they disguise it and they hold it really late so they don't give you a pre-snap read.
The Packers are going to back themselves up 5 yards. That would look like Jari Evans.
Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Evans, a 6-time Pro Bowler, all those Pro Bowl trips as a Saint in his first year with Green Bay. So 3rd and 10 went to 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 5, and now 3rd and 5 turns into 3rd and 10 again.
Yeah,
and you burned a timeout in between.
Throw another hard count on him. See what happens. Got Devontae Adams working solo down here against McCourty. Bottom of your screen.
And Hundley is wrapped up and then gets away. Now Nassib chases him and through the hands of the intended receiver. It would have been well short of a 1st down. Looking to Richard Rodgers. Derek Kindred nearly pulled off the sack.
Now Derek Kindred's out here. And this is, again, a different type of blitz looks. They're showing double A-gap blitz. And on the snap of the ball, they bring one and drop one, and he just beats badly Aaron Jones on pass protection. Hundley does a good job, and Richard Rodgers, you got to make that catch. I know it's behind you. You get 2 hands on it. You got to make that catch. A nice job of Hundley, though, finding time.
Ball will carry traveling to that end of the field on kicks, and it's bobbled. And then Duke Johnson picks it up. And breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, and tripped up at the 29-yard line. So the Browns get the football in a 7-7 game with some of the greats. Otto Graham, Jim Brown, Ozzie Newsome. John Dorsey hoping to do in Cleveland what he did in Kansas City, and that is turn around a dormant franchise for a long, long time. Chiefs had not had a winner. He got that turned around virtually overnight by hiring a head coach and bringing in the right quarterback. And of course, you bring up quarterbacks here in Cleveland. And I mean, there are T-shirts made up about all the quarterbacks as Crowell falls down after maybe a gain of a yard. I mean, you can just go back to 1999. First overall pick, Tim Couch. He started 59 games. Others on that list like Spurgeon Wynn, Bruce Gradkowski, Thad Lewis, at least to start 28 different starting quarterbacks, the most in the league since the 99 season. The Bears, by the way, the 2nd most.
Both McCown brothers made a stop here in Cleveland. McCown Town at one point.
The only quarterback with a winning record through all of that was a local boy. That was Brian Hoyer, who went 10-6 over a couple of years. And that is a 1st down. Flag comes in late. Flag comes in very late after the completion to Njoku, the rookie out of Miami of Florida.
They're going to get a holding call on Blake Martinez.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second half.
Sean Coleman holding Blake Martinez.
You know, not only the guys that they've had play quarterback here, but look at some of the players, quarterbacks they have just passed on just in the last 7 years. Andy Dalton started since day one in Cincinnati. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins have gone to Pro Bowls. Bridgewater, Derek Carr, Garoppolo tried to make a trade already this year to get A.J. McCarron 3 years after they could have drafted him. They didn't think Carson Wentz was a top 20 pick, top 20 quarterback. Those were the words of Paul D. Podesta.
Hold it. Hey, 50.
So 2nd and 18 after the penalty took away a first down. And is that a catch by Coleman? Did the ball get there? It did. It is a first down. Okay, Kaiser looks much sharper here today.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, actually, of staying and trusting his protection and throwing that ball, even though it's low. Again, now you're having your best two receivers that you anticipated for the future making plays for you, Coleman and Gordon.
Well, met at the 35 after a gain of 3, and we meet once again from coast to coast. Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. So Carolina currently the 6th seed. Packers chasing Carolina. They were tied at 7 in the second. Jonathan Stewart caps off a 14-play, 89-yard drive with his second TD already today. Panthers lead this one 14-7. Tom?
Still trying to figure out how Fox doesn't have that game. In this world of television we work in, for CBS to have a matchup of 2 NFC teams in a great game. Go figure. That's a first down carry by Crowell.
Well, here's a guy that I think has been a strong guy from day one, and Crowell's going to get a nice job by his offensive line of guys getting up to the second level. Right there, you had a nice job of Petonio getting up to the second level, sealing off the linebacker, and Crowell will run hard. I mean, he will fight and claw for every single yard. He knows he's under audition for John Dorsey and Jimmy Haslam.
He's gone over 600 yards now this season. And it's only notable as you look at Crowell in another big game. It's 4 years in a row now. Crowell, who was an undrafted free agent out of Alabama State, has gone for 600 or more yards. The last Browns running back to do that 4 years in a row. Here's a name, the great Greg Pruitt, back in the 1970s.
Wow. Oklahoma.
Yes, great player.
Loved him as a kid. I don't have the energy for the Packers, right? I mean, are you fighting for the playoffs here, right? And I don't get that sense right now.
Hey, pony left. Hurry, that.
This time it'll be Duke Johnson, and tries to turn it back the other way. He'll get back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Clay Matthews, boy, there's a fellow who knows a thing or two about Cleveland, Ohio. His father, one of the all-time great Cleveland Browns, 16 years his dad wore the Cleveland Browns uniform.
Yeah, he's such a major player on this team, especially in the pass rush, and Clay's certainly shown his versatility over the years. Played a little middle linebacker a few years ago, moved him back to his natural position at outside linebacker. His best attribute is his effort getting off on the ball and great hands, like a karate man out there.
Came back from a groin injury and notched 2.5 sacks in the win last week. Quick slant, and that's Gordon, and that is another first down. Gordon, his third catch, and he's already close to 70 yards.
So we talked about with Hundley and Cobb, right? This is an automatic between Gordon and Kaiser. The Browns' offensive line is run blocking, and that's just a communication between two guys on a three-step drop because Randall's so far off. Gordon's going to run a little quick slant on him. You give a free inside release to Gordon, they're going to connect all day. And Kaiser's in rhythm. He's in flow. It's the best he's thrown the ball all year.
I'll tell you one thing right now. When you're at a Cleveland Browns practice and Josh Gordon comes running past you as Johnson has nowhere to run and be dropped for a 3-yard loss, I'm going to tell you something. When Gordon comes trotting by you, you cannot believe how big and strong and physical this guy is. A lot like the receiver they had last year, and Terrell Pryor. Let's check in downstairs with Jen Hale.
Well, Tom, to your point about how much more comfortable Kaiser looks today, he and Josh Gordon spent a ton of time this week going over film one-on-one now that they finally had game footage to work with. And Gordon was able to show him exactly where he wants the ball. That comfort level seems to be paying off on the field now.
Sure does. 3 receptions, 69 yards, including a touchdown for Gordon. And on this 10th play, before they snap it, Hugh Jackson wants a timeout. He's not happy with his quarterback. Browns have swagger. That swagger down there in the dog pound, Chris, getting after it.
Yeah, it looks like our guy Jason Thornberry polishing off dinner the other night. Gets a steak every week and makes sure he has that bone in that steak and finishes it off.
I'm going to tell you what. And if that's not enough for you, then maybe late night you get a sandwich and fall asleep with ice cream on your boiler.
It's good living. Good living. Browns are living good right now.
Play the drive, and Kaiser dumps it off out of the backfield to Vitale. And the fullback is inside the 25. It brings up a lengthy 3rd down as the Browns try and take the lead for the first time in this game. That is the end of the field. We've talked about it already, but just to point out once again, the area where the Browns are driving to that end of the field, kickers had a hard time hitting from long distance. The other way, the ball was flying.
Whatever defense you call, this guy has to be covered. You might have to give him help. You got Randall out there matched up with him now. They're going to play a little bit of a zone.
Kaiser throws right on the button inside the 10 to Corey Coleman. It's 1st and goal, Browns. Boy, does Kaiser look good today.
He does, and he understands where to go with the football. Corey Coleman beats House off the line of scrimmage, recognizes the soft spot of the zone, and sits down beautifully inside of it. And again, Kaiser, because of his fundamentals and his footwork and everything that Hugh Jackson talks about that he sees from his young quarterback, he's on target because his shoulders and feet are in line with the target. Throwing strikes.
Chris Peelman, you said everybody's on audition right now with a new sheriff in town. And how about that? The inside pitch to Johnson, who tiptoes to the end zone, and the Brownies have the lead.
It's a well-designed play. The Browns throughout the year have been most effective running the ball out of a shotgun formation. They're going to give you a zone read look here first with Corral. Duke Johnson, nice and patient. They run a shovel pass. Nobody's covering it from the Packers. This is a good job of setting it up. Great block on Jake Ryan by Batonio, seals Jake Ryan right there, flips those hips, and Duke Johnson untouched into the end zone. Great call by Hugh Jackson.
So at 5:12 to go until halftime, the Browns have their first lead of the game, and the point after is right down the middle. Very impressive. The Browns on offense here in the opening half. Public Square in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Well, you look at the Browns, their prior 32 offensive possessions coming into this game today, they had scored a total of 3 touchdowns. 32-3. 3 possessions in this game and 2 touchdowns. And a 7-point lead. This is Trevor Davis from the goal line. And he'll get across the 25. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes NFL players who have made both a significant impact on the game and in their communities. This year's nominee for the Packers is Clay Matthews, and for the Browns, Randall Telford. The winner will be announced at the NFL Honors the night before the Super Bowl. To learn more about this year's nominees, visit MLB.com/Man of the Year. Good for those guys.
Yeah, I love those guys that take it upon themselves to be an impact in their community and back all their words with their actions. That's what you love to see.
They looked left, nothing there, and now he'll run it and dive up to the 30 on a gain of close to 4. I mean, the opening drive, Green Bay just marched straight down the field. And Chris, nothing doing ever since.
Well, that's because I think the Browns have done a great job of making them one-dimensional, at least so far, where they have eliminated any type of run game from that man's offense. Just with the movement up front, the Green Bay Packer offensive line is in trouble handling any types of stunts or angles or slants.
Green Bay's run it 9 times, and 5 have gone for 0 or negative yards. Not much here. Maybe 1. Crowd will push him forward to 2. But it'll bring up a 3rd down.
This is where you have to win outside. This is where you're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. You have to have your skill beat the skill of the Browns defensive guys. So the corners and receivers, the matchups, you have to identify a matchup for Brett Hundley. Pick one that you like, and you attack that matchup.
Now the Packers are 0 for 5 on 3rd down. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down. Remember last time on 3rd and the yard, they threw the ball. This time the Cleveland corners all over the receivers. Boy, I tell you, Chris, I just got to tell you, for the life of me, I just don't understand on 3rd and the yard how you're throwing a nearly impossible pass to complete. But
I'm going to tell you why they did it.
There's a flag down.
Yep. We'll see what the flag is.
Illegal use of hands. Hands in the face. Defense number 41. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Mike Jordan. It's another big penalty against this Cleveland team.
The reason why you do that, Tom, this isn't automatic. This is an adjustment by Davante Adams. And again, Hundley. Why? Because you have press coverage by McCourty. See the press? So he's going to run a takeoff. If he was playing off, he'd run a slant. Because it was press coverage, he converts his route from a slant to a takeoff. That's why they run that play.
Green 18.
Coming right back across the middle, and it's simply dropped by Davante Adams. I'm not asking so much about why they run the play. I mean, clearly, although that was a tough window to throw through right there for Hundley to get it. I'm just saying probably what a lot of Packers fans are saying at home, and that is on 3rd and a yard, why are we throwing a sideline route 25 yards down the field? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or you could run the ball in or whatever, and there's a lot of reasons. He feels like I think, that McCourty's susceptible to a double move. He's been beat twice last week by Mike Evans, Steve.
Yep.
You attack him with Davante Adams, the matchup that you like.
Well, both you and Mike McCarthy have forgotten more football than I'll ever know.
No, it's a good question.
Now Hundley chased and asked to get rid of it in a hurry. He had an eye on Lance Kendricks, but he was being tackled as he threw the ball.
Well, he had Jordy Nelson, too, coming across the middle, but he drops his eyes when he's under pressure. When you drop your eyes, you lose vision of any receivers coming open underfield. And Jordy Nelson was coming on a crossing route, but because of the eye drop, he misses him. Watch here. See this? Here comes the pressure. His eyes go down. He misses Jordy Nelson. Now he tries to get him back up to look for Kendricks, but nothing there.
All right, it's a 3rd down and 10 with 3:27 to go until halftime. Each team has used a timeout in this half. Wide open for a 1st down. It's Richard Rodgers. There's a penalty flag behind the line of scrimmage.
The guy that's created havoc.
Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And has a knack for it in blitzing is Derek Kindred. Derek Kindred is going to get collared right here. Derek Kindred is getting pressure all day, and they're bringing him from inside, from outside, and here's the hole. Right here, but Derek Kindred has, some guys just have this ability to seep through holes, and right there's the grab. Horse collaring Kindred, allowing Hundley time to pass. It's Corey Linsley grabbed him around the neck, but Kindred has that knack, Tom. You find those guys, and Greg Williams uses him, puts him all over the field, puts him in individual matchups that he likes on the offensive line.
Kindred, a 4th-round pick a year ago, made 5 starts as a rookie. Now good protection on 3rd and forever. That's Williams. And he's tripped up at the 40-yard line by Kendrick. And the Packers will punt it, and we punt it to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Now what Packers fans want to see, Matt Stafford connecting with Golden Tate. With that one, of course, playoff implications as Detroit sits at 6-6. Right now, they're up 14-7 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom?
Certainly Packer fans keeping an eye on that one. I mean, Packer fans, great fans. They know the deal. This is all about the wild card at this point.
All over our hotel. They're the best. Love football. So do Browns fans.
They sure do. These are two of the great franchises, historic franchises in the history of this great game. 2:08 to go. Browns have 2 timeouts and, of course, a 2-minute warning as they start this drive inside their own 20. Now, Duke Johnson is wrapped up by Demarius Randall. That brings us to the 2-minute warning. 14-7. Browns trying to win their first game in 2017. First possession of the game, you thought, here we go again. As the Packers go right down the field and score on a touchdown throw to Williams. But the Browns on their first possession answer. Beautiful throw and catch. Kaiser to Gordon. And then the little shovel pass to Johnson, untouched into the end zone. And that's where we stand, 14-7. The Browns have only led at halftime one game this entire year. That was over in London. They led Minnesota 13-12 and lost 33-16. Good protection. Now Kaiser dumps it off, and that's an excellent tackle made by Blake Martinez. Now, the Browns didn't get their first lead of this season until the third quarter of Week 5 against the Jets. And while we have a timeout here, let's find out what's coming up with Kurt Menefee and the gang at halftime.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we left the comfy confines of our LA studio and headed east over here to historic LA Coliseum, where the Rams will take on the Eagles later on Fox. But first, we'll see you at halftime of your game where we'll catch you up. Visa Halftime takes flight next.
We were there earlier this season in the Coliseum when the Rams, one of their rare losses, were upended by the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, but you could tell how much improved they were as a team, just offensively, defensively, and we saw the growth in Jared Goff even that early on into the season and how much he's improved. And with Sean McVay, Wade Phillips have done a great job of coaching that. Big down here for the Packers to hopefully create some type of field position for their offense that they can get off the field.
The Packers with 1 timeout left. This is a 3rd and 11. Browns are 3 of 4 on 3rd down. Some contact there, but no flag.
They're going to get a freebie.
Uh-oh.
Offside. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
All right, let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
You guys are going to be sick of me by the end of the day. Here you go. Dallas 6-6 needs this win, but Eli back under center for the Giants connects with Rhett Ellison for this 1-yard score. They're up 10-3. Tom, Chris, and Jeff.
All right, Carissa, thank you. We never get sick of Carissa Thompson.
Eli back in the hunt. A lot of times when a change is made throughout the week, it kind of awakens everybody. Maybe we're seeing it up in New York. I know we're seeing it here. DeShone Kizer is the perfect example, right? DeShone Kizer's not looked this good all year and comfortable. A lot of that has to do with number 12 being on the field.
Kizer 12 of 13 so far in this game, and that's Johnson across the middle of 1st down and then some. Across the 40-yard line, and he's able to, they shoved out of bounds. They're going to continue to run the clock.
Well, this is good. We talk about not only being accurate, but also mentally knowing what you're doing with the football. He had Duke Johnson matched up on Ahmad Brooks. He just waited for him to clear and delivered a perfect strike for the run catch.
Kizer now sacked by Clay Matthews, who had 2.5 a week ago. That gives him 4.5 in the last 2+ games.
Matthews is a beast when he wants to be and he's getting there and when he's healthy. Here's the matchup right here. DeShone Kizer understands the situation, so he sees Brooks taking Duke Johnson and understands that there's no way Ahmad Brooks can cover Duke Johnson in open space. So that's the growth. We see growth in his accuracy, and right there is growth mentally in this offense recognizing once again a matchup and exploiting that matchup. The NFL is all about matchups. That's what this game is.
Packers scoring their league best 7th touchdown on the opening drive, but the Browns answered on their first drive. Gordon getting his first touchdown since nearly to the day, December the 15th of 2013.
He's such, but even when he's on the field, you have to account for him. So that helps everybody around him. And talking about Clay Matthews, he looks like the Clay Matthews. We had him in Chicago. Didn't look right. He's looked the past 2 weeks. He's been what he's supposed to be, a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Down the middle of the field, and there's a reception by Corey Coleman. And the clock continues to run. The Browns have 1 timeout remaining, 1:05 left.
How's this for numbers? 13 for 14, 152, 2 touchdowns. That's not Aaron Rodgers. That's Deshaun Kaiser.
Up fake, and now he's looking for the home run ball to Gordon in the end zone. And it's incomplete. Josh Jones along with Demarius Randall back in coverage of Gordon.
He's just so fast, and I'll tell you, Josh Jones does a great job of getting the angle and knocking it away. You might be hearing some boos. People think if you don't look back for the football, that's an automatic pass interference. To me, it looked like he got there a tad early. It's kind of a bang, bang. Oh, yeah, he did get there early.
Yeah, real early.
The Packers got a break right there, but it's not because he didn't look back for the football, which is often a misconception.
It's clearly contact made by Jones on Gordon prior to the ball arriving. Packers got a break. And now the Packers are going to call a timeout. You know, Chris, when we were talking about this game throughout the entire weekend there with the Browns at their complex, and they announced John Dorsey as their new general manager on Friday, and then you've been looking at tape all week long, and these Packers, yes, the Packers have more to play for in theory as far as the postseason is concerned, but you thought Cleveland had more than a fighting chance here today.
I do, because I do think they have the pieces in place, and the one thing that's been missing is consistent quarterback play. And Deshaun's certainly providing that today, because I think he's auditioning for John Dorsey. Here's the other thing, and this is what we have to watch. We asked Hugh Jackson, what's keeping you from taking and getting that first win? And he said, it's the fourth quarter. We have to have somebody step up in the fourth quarter. We have to make plays in the fourth quarter. And that's why this game is so intriguing moving forward to the second half. We got a team fighting for their playoff life right now, and a team fighting for their first win of the year. And will they step up in the fourth quarter?
They'd love to add to this 7-point lead before we get to the half, and they are traveling in the direction. There's a false start against Cleveland.
Ball start. Offense number 12. 5-yard penalty till second down. There's no 10-second runoff, and the clock was not running.
And going to this end of the field time, you probably have to get the ball at the maximum around the 30-yard line. That's usually the field goal area, or as far as the distance or range for Zane Gonzalez, because of the wind going this direction.
Set up the screen to Crowell, blockers in front, and then closing fast was Vince Beigel, as they're going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Waiting for him to place the ball down. That clock continues to run, and they just now get the ball down. Less than 30 seconds to go, and it's a 3rd and 11. You just can't spike it here. Kaiser again looks down the field, and he threw that one into traffic, and it's intercepted by Clinton Dix. 21st turnover on the 16th interception this season by Deshaun Kaiser.
This is one where Clinton Dix is going to be deep, and he's going to be outside the number. So if anywhere you want to go to the middle of the field to Higgins, because Dix was lined up outside helping the outside receiver, and Kaiser's eyes took Clinton Dix right to the football.
Well, I tell you, these safeties for the Packers have just been 2 outstanding players for a long time. Clinton Dix and Morgan Burnett.
Now, I think the next growth and development of Deshaun Kaiser would be use your eyes to move Clinton Dix away from your intended target, then trust that he's going to move from your target, then throw the football. He stared his target down. Clinton Dix had a great jump on it.
Packers going to take a knee. The Browns get the football to start the second half. Let's take a look and a listen from Week 13 with sounds from the field, brought to you by Walmart.com, now offering free 2-day shipping.
This is our time! We came here for something. Let's go back! That's a Pro Bowl play right there.
All right, so for just the second time this entire year, the Cleveland Browns go to the locker room at halftime with a lead. They led Minnesota over in London and then were blown out in the second half. But it's 14-7 Browns. What an impressive half for Kaiser. 15 of 18, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then that late interception. We're going to go right to the Los Angeles Coliseum, where Kurt Menefee and the entire gang are standing by for the Visa halftime, which begins right now. Ring of Excellence before the game today, given Hall of Fame rings. Jim Brown along with Leroy Kelly, and Paul Warfield, the late Leroy Kelly. And at halftime, the Browns a 14-7 lead. The Browns will get the football to begin the second half.
Well, I think you just do what you're doing. They had good balance as far as play calling goes, run pass, keeping the Green Bay defense off balance. And if I'm Green Bay, I don't know who's in charge or what kind of locker room speech you're given, but somebody on the offense and somebody on the defense needs to step up and say, look, man, we're fighting for our playoff lives. We're playing an 0-12 football team. How bad do we want it? Well, that's going to be answered right here in the second half.
All right, so here we go. Second half underway, and that's a good kick by Crosby. And out to the 25. The Browns will get it, and we go downstairs for a halftime report from Jennifer Hale.
Tom, the buzzword in the Packers locker room at halftime was pressure. Mike McCarthy doesn't think the offense is handling it well, nor that the defense is bringing it against DeShone Kizer. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackson might be leading, but he is not happy. He chewed out DeShone Kizer for what he calls a silly decision on that interception before the half ended last time. Told him not to force things or try to do too much. Remember to stay inside himself and trust his teammates, Tom.
It's great stuff, Jennifer. Thank you very much. That late interception by Clinton Dix, when the Browns at least had a chance to put some points on the board and add to the halftime lead. Crowell lowers his shoulder, and that'll be a gain of 4. Morgan Burnett in on the stop.
When you have an offense that's struggling like the Packer offense, this is where the Packer defense, somebody has to step up and make a play, create a turnover, provide field position, get a 3 and out. Get something exciting, some juice going in there. And if I'm Blake Martinez in that huddle making that call, that's the first thing I keep challenging my guys with. And number one guy to include would be myself. Make a play.
Second down and 7. They give it to Crowell again, and he lunges forward across the 30. Depending on the spot, it'll bring up third down, and looks like 3 yards to go for a first down.
Well, as the auditions continue and John Dorsey's up there picking their brain of Jimmy Haslam, he can look down on Crowell and say, you know, the one thing about this guy, rarely does he take a loss. And he'll fight for every inch and every blade of grass. That's how he plays.
All right, so a third down. The Browns are 4 of 6 on third down so far today. They are miserable on the year at just 31%, worst in the NFL. And now Kizer going to loft it up top and through the hands of Josh Gordon. That was a perfect throw by Kizer, but Gordon never knew it was coming until it was too late.
And that's maybe because he's going to run a little wheel route here, Tom. Just a little bit of timing and not playing much, but this is a perfect throw by DeShone Kizer, throwing a 50-50 ball. It looks like Josh Gordon went up with one hand, and that's an excellent job of Randall of pinning that other arm down so Josh Gordon could only get one hand. Well executed by Randall. Beautiful.
Well, that was a nice throw by Kaiser.
Beautiful. He's just playing with more confidence, isn't he? Don't you see that?
Here's Colquitt. Puts a foot on it. And this is Davis back to the 20-yard line. He's running the wrong way. And he is spun down by Matthew Days at the 17. So Hundley in the pack with a football, down by 7. Given the Packers are not going to win their division. They trail Carolina, Atlanta, and Seattle. They probably need to win at least 2 of the 3, and they need those other teams, at least 2 of the 3, to lose 2 more games. Now you look at head-to-head, they have tiebreakers against Seattle. They play Carolina next week. They lost to Atlanta back in week 2. And the question is, will Aaron Rodgers come back next week? And boy, if he's coming back, Chris, he is walking around landmines defensively. Look at those 2 teams, Carolina and Minnesota, 2 of the very top defensive teams in the NFL.
You know, one nail target right there is Minnesota. That's the one in the game that Aaron Rodgers got hurt when Anthony Barr fell on top of him. Big home game for them.
And the throw is too high. He had a wide open Lance Kendricks, and he took a shot.
Yeah. Boy, that's a missed opportunity, right? And you just talked about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't miss this right here. He's got a nice little seam to fit it in. Burgess drops a little short, and right there, I promise you, and you know, you can play the what-if game all you want, but I'm just stating facts. Aaron Rodgers doesn't miss that, and that's a missed opportunity. And the Packers have not been very effective at all with any passes over 10 yards. And there's 0 for 6 on 3rd downs today.
Land the 53.
3rd down and 4 here, and that's a safe throw right there. The first pass of the game was completed from Hundley to Jordy Nelson. That's the first time he's thrown to him since the opening game's play.
It's a nice job of recognition of coverage pre-snap. The corner backing off deep, and Jordy Nelson, being a smart guy that he is just going to run a little out count, make sure he's clearing those sticks, and because of the soft coverage, Brett Hundley was able to deliver it. Protection was sound, but the pre-snap read set it all up for Hundley.
So nice start for the Packers here.
Green 18. Green 18.
As Hundley and hit on 10 of 16. They run it to Williams, and this is his best run of the afternoon. That'll be a gain of 12. Williams very quiet today after rushing for 113 a week ago.
This is an old counter trade when you have 2 guys from the backside pulling around. Evans and Kendricks doesn't get a devastating block, but a good enough block to knock off Burgess. Williams has a little daylight and shows his burst of vision through the hole.
Green 18. Green 10. You got it. See it. No. Blue 58. Blue 58.
Short drop, lay it off to Jordy Nelson again, and he's right at midfield at a gain 4 yards.
You know what I liked right there? They went like he went through his cadence and he gave a hard hunt count. So who's been effective on the Browns defense, right? Number 26, Derek Kindred. It showed Derek Kindred coming from the blitz because of the hard count. So where does he throw? Knowing Kendrick was coming, he's throwing to the side of the blitz, which is the weakness of the coverage. Great recognition by Hundley. Nice adjustment.
Green 18. Green 10.
Play fake, and Hundley now looking around. He'll dump it off to the man he faked the handoff to, and that's a smart decision there by Williams. A rookie out of BYU, the Cougars' all-time leading rusher with almost 4,000 career rushing yards to turn that back upfield to convert.
Yeah, he had some injury problems at BYU, and you're going to watch Hundley. The one thing I like about him is this time he doesn't drop his eyes, right? There's a little bit of pressure coming, scans the field and understands where the check down outlet is. Get the ball into the hands of your athletes. Let them make plays in space.
Solid start to this drive.
Green 18. Green 10.
For the Packers, their opening possession of the second half. Blitz coming, and Hundley gets rid of it. Would have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. A low throw to Kendrick, second down.
The Packers, when they're in 2 backs and they're in an I-back look, they give away run pass. When it's a pass, the tailback is lined up closer to the fullback. And the reason is you want that tailback in possession for pass protection. When it's a run, there's more depth and distance between the fullback and tailback. That's a little tell that they have out of their two-back system. I'm sure the Browns know that.
Hey, sled. 53, sled. Green 18.
Put it in the hands of Devontae Adams. He's their leading receiver, and they run him out of bounds. I mean, these receivers who have gone from working with Aaron Rodgers, and look, you know, you got to play with who you bring to the dance, right? But for Adams and Cobb and Nelson, who are used to putting up huge numbers, those numbers have gone by the wayside, and now just trying to win games.
So, you know, you look at Hundley's completion chart, there must be the majority of the completions have been under 10 yards, except, of course, the broken coverage and the touchdown pass to Jamal Williams on the first series.
So now a third down, and getting out of trouble is Hundley, and he'll run it for a first down, and then some inside the 20. And that is something that Hundley has done exceptionally well, especially in critical moments since taking over as a starter, and that's run in big situations.
Well, you have a chance to make a play if you're a Cleveland Brown defender right here on a blitz. But if you're playing blitz and you do not make the play and you do not cover all your throwing lanes and as far as protection goes, watch, there's going to be a chance to make a play in here. Myles Garrett comes in, gets pushed by. You have slippage out there on the corner. Brett Hundley understands his man coverage, and the best decision he can make for his football team is not to run over Geronimo Allison right here, but to tuck it and run period to get the first down and keep the chains moving.
Well, that's the second whiff on a blitz by Kendrick in this game today. He had one in the opening half, and right there, that should have been a sack for a loss. As well as Kendrick has played today, he has missed 2 critical sacks.
Yeah, you can't do that on blitz because you're exposing then your back end of your defense. It's a great design. I mean, he's coming free, and as a defensive back, you cannot lose your footing. As a pass rusher, you can't lose your footing because now you present a vulnerable situation against the run, and Hundley exposed that.
11th play of this drive. Cleveland defense was sensational in the red zone last week. They've been awful by and large all year. In fact, the league's worst. Until they held San Diego to 5 field goals for the LA Chargers now. And this will be short of a first down. First catch by Geronimo Allison. They were expecting big things out of him this year. 3rd week of the year, had 122 receiving yards in that late come-from-behind win over the Bengals. But very quiet ever since, and now a 3rd down and a yard. Remember, they threw the ball on 3rd down and a yard twice in this game.
Well, you see Jamal Williams coming into the ball game, and I'll tell you, if I had a guy to bet on in the NFL and I had my top 3, Jamal Williams would be in my top 3 the way he's running the football. Following Ripkowski.
Yeah, this time they're going to run a 3rd and a yard. And I'm not sure they got there. I mean, that last little lunge forward. But then Kendrick was the one who came in and slowed him down.
Well, this is a great job of penetration. Watch Jari Evans come around here as a puller. He's going to get knocked off, forcing the ball to cut back where there's no blockers. Look at that. Jari Evans is knocked back in. Derek Kindred misses a play, but sits there and takes on a 320-pound offensive guard pulling. You know what that tells me? This kid has courage, and he's trying to make a play. And Greg Williams recognized, I got to put my best players in a position to make a play. He's my best blitzer. I'm putting him in a position. Go blow it up. And he did.
All right, here's a measurement now. He appeared to be short. Yep, he's short by about a little more than a half yard. Now, we saw Mike McCarthy twice on 4th down in the opening half. His first drive of the game, he faked a punt on a 4th down and then went on a 4th and 2, converting both times. They're 2 of 2 on 4th down. They're going to go for it today.
So I took out Jamal Williams, right? I'm bringing in Aaron Jones. So nothing guaranteed as far as a pass, but I know that my tougher inside runners out of the ball game. So you know Cleveland's going to blitz. Who's going to win their one-on-one battles?
Ripkowski in the I formation with Aaron Jones. And they're going to run the ball. Are you kidding me? That looked like somebody was on the wrong page. And the Packers move down the field. Caleb Brantley, the rookie, with a big stop denying on 4th down. So on 4th down and a yard, Hundley and the Packers failed to convert inside the Cleveland 15-yard line. So now the Browns get the ball back with a 14-7 lead. Over halfway through this 3rd quarter in Cleveland. The Browns have not won a game all year long, 0-12. And this is Crowell that breaks it to the outside, back into the middle, and that's powerful running. A gain of 17 on 1st down by Crowell.
So Aaron Jones is brought in to run outside, not inside. I believe Hundley makes this mistake. This is designed to go out here on a quick pitch because watch the tackle come down and seal this side. That's Bakhtiari's going to come and seal. And watch what the play develops. Hundley's supposed to give a quick pitch right there to Aaron Jones. Does not, because this guy is coming to seal right here. And that's a mental mistake on somebody. I think it's Hundley. I could be wrong. But it looked to me like it was supposed to go outside to Aaron Jones.
We've seen the Packers run that play before. This is Crowell. Gain of close to 3 on 1st down. And we check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. We head to Carolina. Panthers trying to keep their playoff hopes alive as they're in that tough NFC South division. How about this? Cam Newton making it happen. Connects with Devin Funchess. Should have been sacked right there. Connects on an 18-yard touchdown. Has his team up 21-13.
Well, that's a huge game for Carolina. I mean, Minnesota's in first with a comfortable lead with, including today, 4 games left in the season. They've only lost twice, and everybody else in their division has lost at least 6 times. So they're going to win the division. But if you're Minnesota, you're thinking about home field advantage. Because Philadelphia lost last week. Philly has back-to-back very tough road games. They're out in L.A. later today on Fox, and the next week they go to the Meadowlands to play on the Giants. It's the singing competition that starts with the 4 best singers. The 4, Battle for Stardom. Judges Sean Diddy Combs, DJ Khaled, Meghan Trainor, Charlie Walk. Hosted by the ever-popular Fergie. It's January 4th right here on Fox.
Princess Fergie's hosting, huh? Is that who that is?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I said ever popular.
Okay, there you go.
That's true. It's apparently younger than 54. Second down and 7. And a little bubble screen to Johnson. Boy, that's a beautifully designed play right there. Kevin Zeitler, outstanding right guard out there just to give him a little bit of running room.
Well, last week, the Browns exposed, or excuse me, the Buccaneers exposed the Packers on screen passes, and you're going ahead and design it right here, a screen pass to a back on a Packer defense that was exposed by Tampa Bay on screens to their running backs last week.
Well, lowers his shoulder and picks up 2 to bring him second down. Mike Daniels, rock solid presence over the last 6 seasons on this Packer defense and on the stop.
Scouting report, that's film work. We talked about it. Teams will watch games. Where do they struggle? Where did the team struggle against a particular team? And last week, the Packers struggled covering running backs and tight ends. And so that's the attack point, and you do have a certain place set in your game plan to attack the weaknesses that a team may have shown the previous week.
Yeah, Devon House and Demarius Randall did a great job on Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson. Look at Crowell fighting his way, dragging Jake Ryan and company, and Daniels right along with him. Very close to a first down. He appears to be about a foot short.
Well, it seems to me almost like that the Browns, at least so far, are the ones that are fighting for a playoff position. Just the way they're establishing the line of scrimmage.
Crowell to try and get that first down and then some. Inside the 25, cuts it back to the 20, back to the outside. And Crowell is down close to the 5-yard line. He ran 300 yards to gain 30 there. Seemingly 37-yard gain.
This is the read that Sean Kaiser has on a zone read. If he does not, he closes down. He's going to keep it. He stays outside. He gives the ball to Crowell, and he's able to burst through the hole. You're putting that linebacker, Kyler Fackrell, in a bind right there. And that was an excellent read on a zone read by Deshaun Kaiser to give it away.
Now they give it to Johnson, and he's tripped up down at the 3-yard line. That was Vince Beagle, the rookie out of Wisconsin, in on the tackle. Crowell needing a breather.
They're so good at that zone read play, and I'll tell you, that's a tough position to put a defensive end / outside linebacker in, because Kaiser is excellent at reading him and his movements. They come back to it with Duke Johnson. Now they're going back to the conventional eye. Like play action weak. Play action weak. There it is.
That had no chance. None.
I don't know. I had a flashback. I said play action weak because of this split right here. That tells me it's a pass drop. It gives an easy release to Telfer. But the Packers were disciplined in their coverage with Jake Ryan and Morgan Burnett playing man first, taking precedent over any run. It's almost automatic on second down. You motion away from it. That's almost, you're going to get that every time. A lot of times you'll see a quarterback draw in this situation this close to the line of scrimmage with everybody spread out.
Kaiser throws, and it is a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns, and that's Corey Coleman. And don't look now, but the Browns are a point after away from a 14-point lead late in the third.
I think you're expecting help inside from Josh Jones. If you're going to help inside, you can't fall off this cliff. That goal line, that's the cliff. See Josh Jones look inside right there. He was a little bit late reacting, allowing Corey Coleman to get underneath him. If you're an inside help guy, that ball has to go over your head. It can never go in front of you, especially if it's on the 2-yard line. Good catch right there. Down. Ball secured. Looks like he finishes the catch. Well done.
This is the largest lead of the season for the Cleveland Browns. Prior to right now, this 13-point advantage. And another Brown finds sunglasses after a touchdown. Their largest lead prior to right now was a 10-0 lead Week 10 at Detroit. They lost that game 38-24. Today was only the second time all year long the Browns led at halftime, and they were slaughtered in the second half by Minnesota. But apparently, the skies are brightening in Cleveland here in mid-December. Well, the Green Bay Packers came in at 6-6. They're hoping to have their perennial Pro Bowl quarterback Aaron Rodgers back for the stretch run next week. You're right in the thick of things, and here you are against an 0-12 Cleveland Browns team, and you're trailing 21-7. You scored the first possession of the game. The last time the Browns won a game was on Christmas Eve last year against the Chargers. Crowell a couple of touchdowns. Josh Langlow just a 45-yard field goal in the waning seconds. And Cleveland could celebrate a gift from Santa. It would be an early gift this year. Since then, they've lost 13 straight games.
Well, his theory is going to get tested, and we asked him what's keeping his team from winning ball games, and basically it's been collapses in the fourth quarter. They're going to have a chance to prove that they can play in the fourth quarter and they can finish games. Stay tuned.
All right, so now Huntley and company, who have not been able to run the ball at all today. And we brought up earlier, this Cleveland defense has been good all year long. Jennifer Hale down on the sideline.
Tom, you can tell the suspense of this game is killing Aaron Rodgers. He's trying to keep a straight face, but he grimaces every time the Browns do something good. That last touchdown almost killed him. He addressed his O-line before this drive. Let's see if it does any good.
Great stuff, Jennifer. Thank you very much. Second down and 1 after the 9-yard pass play, and this will convert on the catch by Randall Cobb, and he's up to the 39-yard line.
Well, I like what the Packers are doing here. They're going no huddle, right? And what it's doing is allowing Brett Hundley to get a pre-snap look, because the Browns then have to line up just in case they snap the ball in a hurry, and you don't want to get caught out of alignment because that's where you're exposed to a big play.
I think there's a challenge from the Cleveland sideline as to whether or not that was a completed pass.
Cleveland is challenging the ruling on a field of a catch at the sideline.
Well, what are they looking at? Let's take a look.
He did juggle initially.
So he's still juggling the ball and still kind of rolling around in there. Dean Blandino, this time a year ago, the head of the NFL officials, watching this kind of thing and making a decision and rendering decisions in New York. How do you see this on the first couple of looks, Dean?
Yeah, I'm looking at control because he initially bobbles the football, but then it looks like he does gain firm control of it. Then we have to see if he gets 2 feet in. I don't see enough to change it yet. Let's look at this angle. Watch. Look for firm grip and control of the football. He's going to bring it in right there. That right foot looks like it's in. Then the left. To me, the call on the field should stand.
I'm with you, Dean.
I'm staying out of this business. I'm going to let you and Spielman do this.
Well, we're doing better. We had a rough week a couple weeks ago. We're on top of it now, though. You're on top of it all the time,
We got
Dean.
our act together.
You're on top of it all the time. Appreciate it.
Like Dean Blandino back there, this should be a one would think. That's why I said, tongue-in-cheek about I'm getting out of this business about trying to predict what they're going to call, because we've been so surprised in recent weeks.
I think he's right. That ball was secure when that right foot came, then the left foot came down.
Stands.
Yep.
Cleveland has charged their second timeout.
Well, I don't even know if it was worth taking a challenge on that.
You took the words right out of my
because
mouth.
It's going to cost you a timeout. Yeah. And you know what they're doing. They're going no huddle. You're going to play soft zone. They're going to throw it outside, and they're going to move the ball slowly down the field on short passes. Then you're going to get ticked off in the red zone. Then the defense is going to start blitzing, and you're going to hope to make a play. That's how this drive will play out.
Remember, the Packers went straight down the field on their first possession of this second half and got inside the Cleveland 15. It's one of those decisions that, fans at home are screaming, 4th down and a yard, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. They went, didn't get it. Obviously did not get any points. And then the Browns get the big run from Crowell and score a touchdown. Easy throw to Geronimo Allison, and he will leap forward up to the 48-yard line.
Some of the Browns fans might get antsy here. You've got a 14-point lead. You're going to give them that. You have Kai Nakua, the free safety. I'm not kidding you. He's as deep as any free safety if I've ever seen in any football game on those last few plays where he was about 27 yards. We're going 2nd and 1 here. Now they're tightening it up a little bit. We'll bring some type of pressure.
Browns blitz, and contact made by Jordan. Soon as Jordy Nelson had his hands on the ball, and Nelson couldn't hang on.
Well, this is a nice break right here by 41, Mike Jordan. Look at that change of direction, getting that right hand, keeping the left hand off, and swatting it away. That's where maybe, ideally, you want to throw that ball low and away and to the outside as opposed to the inside.
Perfect timing by Jordan. Second year out of Missouri Western State. 3rd and a yard. Crossing pattern, and that's a tight end, Kendricks, the former Wisconsin Badger, for a first down.
Here they go back to a little bit, and we're going to put Nakua back about 30 yards to protect anything over the head. Corners are off.
Play it off to Kendricks again. He'll cut it back to the inside, and he's down to the 42-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5, so 2nd down and 5 as we reach 1 minute to go in this 3rd quarter.
I'm not a big bend but don't break type of defense, but in this situation when you're up 14, the clock is ticking, 52 seconds left, protect that end zone. Look at Nakua. Look how deep he is. Nothing over the head. Deep. Look at the corners. Deep is the deepest.
Crossing pattern, and that is Devontae Adams. And he is tripped up. The ball fumbled out of bounds. And they'll say he was down, that the ground caused a fumble.
Devontae working inside is going to come on a nice little crossing route, and because the Browns are in that soft zone, Devontae Adams understands there's nobody there, so he's going to work slowly across the zone and have good burst to the outside.
So now we're down to 12, 11, 10 seconds to go in this third quarter. Packers don't have to run another play. We'll see if they do. They will. Hundley. Boy, what a nice play that was. An adjustment by Devontae Adams. He got himself open. And Hundley finds him. Packers on the move, trailing the Browns at the end of 3, 21-7. First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. Will this be the day? It's the first time this entire season the Browns have led at the end of 3 quarters. And it's 21-7 with Green Bay on the move. First down the second down at a yard at the Cleveland 17.
And now you see the Browns starting to tighten up their coverage, making the Packers work a little bit.
Well, they bring Williams from flank wide left to right alongside Hundley. On second down, really about a foot. It's not even a yard, and they're going to throw it to Williams. And that's a first down. That's basically a running play right there. Easy throw, and it's first down at the 11.
Well, it's good recognition by Hundley. They're in the Tampa 2 where they have Schobert playing about 12 yards deep. So you know that the check down is automatically going to be here for Hundley. Look at Schobert's depth right there. He vacates the middle of the field. Williams does a good job of sitting it down softly in the hole, getting the first down, keep the chains moving.
Trips to the right. Just underway here in the fourth quarter, and now Nelson in motion.
Green 18.
They're going to run it to Williams. Big hole. And he flies inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. Kendricks leading the way from a tight end position with that block.
So when you're lining your linebacker 9 yards deep, you're not asking him to be a part of the running game. He's all coverage, which leaves a hat on a hat for the Green Bay Packers. Everybody gets their main. Jamal Williams is off to the safeties untouched.
Now they'll give it to Williams. This time he's bottled up. That'll be a loss of a yard. Second down and goal. Orchard, who had a big sack early in the game, in on the tackle there. Williams has carried 10 times for 41 yards. And the Packers, when they have run it, not much air. Right around 3.5, less than 3.5 yards per carry against this Greg Williams defense. 12th play of the drive. And is it a touchdown for Williams? No signal given yet.
They're marking him down short.
Massive on the tackle.
Good job right here by the penetration of the Cleveland Browns defense. Joe Schobert gets him around the legs, preventing him from stretching. Watch 53 come into your picture right there, wrapping around the legs, and a little late. I'd sneak it right here if I'm the Packers.
Turn it handed to Williams. He'll go untouched into the end zone. So Green Bay with a critical drive answers after falling behind 21-7, and that is a huge touchdown for Mike McCarthy's Packers.
It's a good read by, you're going to believe this, Ripkowski. Right, this play is designed to go up the middle. Everybody pinches inside. Schobert's in man. Ripkowski adjusts his blocking angle. Jamal Williams just follows Ripkowski into the end zone untouched. Even fullbacks have to read what the defense is up front. And nice patience for Jamal Williams to find that outside edge.
So now the point after coming up by Mason Crosby. These are critical now at this point in the game too, when you're talking about a potential of a 7-point spread as opposed to an 8-point lead. And nearly an entire quarter to play in Cleveland. And it is good by Mason Crosby. Game on in Cleveland. The Pack trying to stay alive in a playoff hunt, down 7. Well, what a drive by Hundley and the Packers, yes indeed. Williams, all smiles, but Hundley 8 of 9. 62 yards on that drive. They were in hurry-up mode.
And good patience, too. They were playing a lot of soft zone, and they were able to convert, especially a big play. Devontae Adams on the safety and one-on-one coverage, and Nakua, good recognition by Brett Hundley. Good protection by the Packers offensive line, allowing Hundley time to pick them apart as far as the Browns defense goes.
I mean, through 13 weeks, you see the Browns on offense. I mean, they're virtually last or second to last in every major category. They were going to try to look like a ball blew off the tee. But for a moment there, they were considering an onside kick, but the ball blew off the tee. Gives us a chance to talk about the days in Massillon, Ohio. Massillon High School, fullback and linebacker. Went down to Columbus to play for the mighty Buckeyes, but of course you were on the cover, first ever high school athlete on the cover of a Wheaties box, wearing your Massillon jersey. And our thanks to your alma mater, the athletic department, and the Massillon Tiger Football Museum. They play in Paul Brown Stadium.
The best thing about that picture was that sweet mustache right there.
That was a big league
17 years. That's big league.
No
big league, buddy.
As a 17-year-old to have that kind of stash, you know you got it going on. They'll put you on the Wheaties box just for that. And that's out across 20 and up to the 20. You know, in all seriousness, so I've asked you about this before in just our private conversations. You and I are the same age. I remember when you were on the cover of a Wheaties box, and for a high school athlete, that was just beyond belief at the time. That was for stuff like the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah. Well, what it was I was one of, I think, 6 amateur athletes to be honored by Wheaties, and you know, the city of Massillon got behind that. They voted for me to get me into the finals, and I was elected. And I was 17 years old. I was
pretty cool.
It was cool.
That's
but
cool.
It was also like, I would go to the basketball game. Every time I step up the foul line, all the opposing students would be chanting, "Hey, Fruit Loops! Fruit Loops! I got Fruit Loops over here!"
That's great stuff. And a decorated career at Ohio State, and of course, in the NFL. Kaiser trying to answer. There's a collision, and a flag's got to come here, right?
No, it's incidental. Devon House fell down, and Josh Gordon tripped over Devon House.
And Devon House is already playing injured. I mean, this guy has had a really bad shoulder. They didn't think he was going to be able to play today, and yet he trailed Mike Evans all last week, held him to 2 catches for 33 yards. I'm wondering if he landed on that shoulder again.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to watch him get caught up, and his feet are going to get caught up with Corey Coleman. He's going to fall. It looks like he does fall on that shoulder, Tom, as he grabs his right or left arm. Then Josh Gordon does not see him and just simply trips over him. A good aggressive play call by Hugh Kaiser. Now, Hugh Jackson, remember, they were successful in that play in the first quarter. They came back to it. It's a sign of a good offensive play caller.
We'll take a break. Back in a moment. Devon House, this is clearly not a re-aggravation of a shoulder injury that's bothered him for the last number of weeks. This is far more serious than that, as they bring the card out to get House off of the field. And while we have a moment, let's check in with Carissa Thompson back in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. We'll head back down to Tampa Bay. So the Lions were up 14-7 when Theo Riddick runs left for an 18-yard touchdown. They lead 21-7. Tom?
The Tampa Bay team is just completely unraveled. But more immediate concern is Devon House. He's been a rock-solid player for these Green Bay Packers. He's battled a lot of injuries this year and played through most of them.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, and it's questionable today. He's out there for his team, and I don't know what happens with Devon. He's got a number of things, gets hit, and seems to be holding his lower back right there. I don't want to speculate, but, you know, after what we saw Monday night with Ryan Shazier, and I was on the field with Mike Utley when that happened back in 1990, and to have a guy at least get up and he's moving and he's on his cart, that's something right there. I say a prayer of thanks. And by the way, our prayers continue to go out to Ryan Shazier in a speedy recovery, Ryan.
We're back in 30 seconds. Second down and 10. Jen Hale will be all over that Devon House story, and if we get any update from the Packers locker room, we will certainly pass that along. Cleveland leads by 7. 12:34 to play. And Crowell up to the 24-yard line. It brings up a third down. Momentum swinging back the Packers' way after that last drive to draw within 7.
Yeah, big third down. 2 guys, obviously Gordon. Everybody knows that, but if I'm Green Bay, I make sure I have a cover guy on Duke Johnson out of the backfield. Josh Hawkins on Coleman up here. All different options.
Excellent protection. And a throw was nearly late, but it had enough on it to get to Seth DeValve, the tight end. And that will move the chains.
You have a good cover. Nickelback, Morgan Burnett, who's outstanding in coverage. And DeValve just runs away from him on an out route. And I like the fact that he worked back for the football and a well-thrown pass again by Deshaun Kaiser, a guy stepping up in the 4th quarter. That's what he challenges guys to do.
And that's the one thing, as Chris brought up earlier, Duke they chant. Duke Johnson up to the 41. Hugh Jackson told us, he said, look, you know, there have been a number of games, more than a handful of games, they've been in it going into the 4th quarter. The final score may say otherwise, but they were in it. He said, but we just haven't had guys step up and make plays.
His quarterback made one right there along with the valve. 31% on 3rd downs. That was a huge conversion.
Give it to Duke Johnson again.
So the most success they've had on the season. We talked about this earlier, but they're going to it now. Out of the gun, their carries, they average 5.4 yards per carry. Under center, they've averaged 3.3 on the year. Big 3rd down. You got to play man coverage right here. 3rd and short. Who's going to win? The Browns' skill or the Packers' skill?
You see the numbers on Kaiser. This is the best he has been all year long, by far. But can he deliver the goods in the 4th down?
I think that's his target right there. That's who I'd be guessing. Now he's coming back in the backfield, maybe for protection.
Can he deliver in the 4th quarter? Play blown dead. And Green Bay had to call a timeout.
First charge timeout. Green Bay. 30-second timeout.
Well, what happens when you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports? Speak for yourself. Jason Whitlock, Colin Cowherd, weekdays at 5 on FS1. Jennifer.
Tom, when Chris mentioned he saw Devon House grabbing his back, he was right. That is the injury that they are most concerned about. Devon House out for this game. Such a blow to the Packers because they're already down Kevin King as well, who went on injured reserve this week. And really the only reason House played, pushed himself on that injured shoulder, is because he did not want his Packers down both of their starting corners. A bit of a spiritual downer for this team right now, Tom.
That's what you got to rally around, Jen. This is the time.
3rd down and 2. Crowell in the backfield. They'll hand it to him, and he's not going to get there. And where they are in this part of the field, they're going to punt it. Let's go back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. I've been updating you guys on this one all day long. Bucks down 21-7 in the 4th. Jameis Winston finds O.J. Howard for his 2-yard touchdown. Lions still lead 21-14. Tom?
Well, just like these Packers, every game is a must-win for the Lions. Trying to go to 7-6, as are the Packers. Different. Lions lead by 7. The Packers trail by 7. Well, the Packers on the verge of getting the football back. End over end. Punt. And the Browns are going to cover it inside the 5. Beautifully done by Colquitt. 53-yard punt. A tall order for Huntley and the Pack when we come back. Well, the Packers have very much been. I mean, when you go to the playoffs 8 years in a row, you're winning a lot of games in December, right?
And that's a sign of a well-coached football team, and they're champions. They know how to win. They know how to win close ones on the road. This is where the Browns have to answer Hugh Jackson's challenge. Can we win in the 4th quarter?
All right, first down from the 3-yard line, trailing by 7. Hundley. First down throw, and that'll be a gain of 4, close to 5 yards on first down. And that's Geronimo Allison, who's done more in this game today than he's done for 2.5 months since that monster game against Cincinnati.
Anytime you can get any more receivers involved, and when he gets healthy, the more he spreads the ball around to those guys, which makes it more difficult to defend as a total defense.
Yeah, keep it at 58. 58.
So it is a gain of 5, second down and 5. Under 9 minutes to go. Packers have 2 of their 3 timeouts left. Dump it off to Williams, and that is a first down. And a good start to this Green Bay drive to the 15.
Well, they're just taking what the Browns are given. We told you what Tampa 2 is with Schobert back here at 10 yards. The reason why, that allows these safeties to cover the outside wide receivers, and they're going to give the check down all day. Can Hundley and can Mike McCarthy stay patient and keep attacking line of scrimmage, moving the ball down the field?
We talked so much about Kaiser and how well he's played today. Hundley has played well. 24 of 32, puts it in the hands of Davante Adams. What a move, couple of them. And Adams up to the 24-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8 on first down.
Recognition of soft corner. Davante Adams is going to come on a little hitch, get the ball into athletes' hands in space, and he'll get you any extra yardage. Excellent move and work by Davante Adams.
He fooled McCourty twice.
Playing soft again. It's okay.
And that's a catch made by Jordy Nelson. And he's up to the 33-yard line. Back-to-back first downs to open up this drive, which began inside the 5.
Well, this is a nice design play. Watch right here. Davante Adams is going to come in. He's a blocker. He's not even an intended receiver. There's only one read. That's Jordy Nelson. Look at Davante Adams. That's an automatic play. There's no read for Davante Adams to catch the ball. That's a design play that the Packers do as well as anybody in the league.
And they're going to throw it again, and again, great protection. And he overthrows Davante Adams, and we throw it to Carissa Thompson once more in L.A.
Thanks, Tom. A good one here in New Jersey, tied 10-10 in the fourth quarter. Jason Witten hauls in his first catch of the day, an important one. Cowboys lead 17-10.
Tell you what, with all the screaming and yelling in New York about sitting down Peyton Manning or Eli Manning, they have Manning back in the game at home, and the Giants have a total of 10 points in the game.
Well, that's the best option. Geno Smith, decent game last week, numbers-wise.
And just throwing it away is Hundley.
The pressure came, but a better job of the Browns jumping underneath routes. You can see the pressure coming right here. Myles Garrett inside showing his acceleration. Now watch, the Browns are sitting on these routes. Now when you sit on routes that much, now what you do if you're the Green Bay Packers, if they're not getting any backpedal off of the snap count, then what you do is you hit them with a double move. That's a counter punch that Mike McCarthy should throw.
They've been sacked one time. Packers are 4 of 5 in this half. On third down after going 0 for 6 in the first half, took a big hit as he threw it. Huge hit from Burgess Jr.
They tried a double move outside right there, and Davante Adams and Brett Hundley weren't on the same page. And I'm going to tell you why, because McCourty got him.
There's a flag real quick, Chris. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, that's the flag. That's McCourty got him on the double move. They went to the double move.
Pass. Illegal contact. Defense number 30.
You got it.
5-yard penalty. Automatic.
This is why you go to the double move. They see that these guys are sitting. Watch, McCourty's going to sit right here, and Davante Adams on the double move. And he's going to jam him. Here's the double move. See that? Right there's a slant, and there's the go. And McCourty has to stop him and step in front of him. Even though it's soft contact, it's still illegal contact. That's what you were looking for. McCourty was patient. You just got to keep patient and not put your hands on him. But nice call by McCarthy going to that double move when they're sitting on routes.
That's a huge penalty. It would have been a punt. And here's Randall Cobb for a couple of yards up to the 38-yard line. Clock closing in on 6.5 to go. Green Bay with the ball. At 6-6 on the year. A bone density exam and scan will tell us if Aaron Rodgers is able to come back next week. If the Packers can't come back to win this game, some might wonder what's the point in bringing him back. How about that throw? A good one by Hundley to Adams. And he's up to the 45. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
Well, it's good patience, too, and this ball is delivered, and it's a fastball. I don't know, what's the sign for a changeup in baseball? 3 fingers?
Yep.
This was a 1-finger one. This is a fastball because McCourty's jumping that route. But he's doing a good job of nothing over the top. That's what Greg Double G Williams has to keep. That's what you do, double G's with 2 G's. You got to preach nothing, nothing over the top. Be patient. We got a 7-point lead.
All right, 3rd down and 2. And batted down at the line of scrimmage. All right, you're almost in midfield. You have 5.5 to go. Are you going here, Chris Spielman?
I'm punting the football. I'm going to trust my defense to get it back right here.
And they're going to punt.
Nassib did a good job of getting in the throwing lane. I love that. That's the growth of a young defensive lineman. Knowing that you're not going to get there, automatically getting your hands up and taking one off the form because he had Devontae Adams on a slant, who, by the way, beat his man off the line of scrimmage and was open. Nassib with the save of the day. Big play in the 4th quarter right there.
So now Vogel trying to pin the Browns inside the 15-yard line. Line drive, punt. I would think this is going to fly out of the end zone. Yep. I mean, that ball's been traveling that way all day long, and Vogel's got to know that at this point in the game. Frustration starting to build on the Green Bay sideline. Here we are. This is by far the closest the Cleveland Browns have been to getting their first win of this season, where we stand now with 5:22 to go in the 4th quarter. 0-12. Their only win in the last 2 years was on Christmas Eve last season against the then San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, this is where you put it on your offensive line. If they can run the football against the Packers right here, keep that clock moving.
First down, Crowell, who's run for the first time all year long for over 100 yards. And he has a gain of close to 10 on first down.
You put it on these 5 guys. I guarantee you, they're on the sidelines. Let's run the ball. Let's run the clock out. Everybody's doing a great job of sticking on there, man, getting to the 2nd level. Crowell with patience and vision and burst. Look at that little jump cut right there and protecting the football. Well-coached kid right there. This type of situation in the game, this time in the game, you know they're going to be trying to knock that ball out of there.
Crowell had 4 100-yard rushing games a season ago. Give it to him again, and he has a first down to the 31. Here's Carissa Thompson.
We head to Tampa Bay. Tom, Bucks down 21-14. Jameis Winston finds backup lineman Leonard Wester. No one thought it was going to him, his first career catch. I know you'll find that hard to believe, all tied up in 21, Tom.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. 2 teams here in the Packers and there in Detroit, playing teams that have had dreadful seasons. Yes, you're playing on the road, but if you want to go to the playoffs, if you're the Packers, you got to beat the Browns. If you're the Lions, you have to beat the Buccaneers.
That's the way it is. This is where you need to stop right here. Look at it, the Packers have 10 guys close to that line of scrimmage, anticipating run.
Crowell for 2, maybe less. Second down. Now the Packers have 2 timeouts remaining, and I believe they're going to use one of them right now. Got to stop the clock at 3:48. Williams over 100 yards from scrimmage. He had a 30-yard touchdown reception to go along with 42 rushing yards. Both quarterbacks have played well today, but especially DeShone Kizer, the maligned DeShone Kizer, and in front of his brand new general manager, John Dorsey, he's saying not so fast on the idea of a trade or a free agent or going in the draft for a quarterback.
I think DeShone has played really well, and it's good to see, and I'm happy for him. He works hard, but I promise you they'll take a quarterback in this upcoming draft.
All right.
That's all. No, all right. Well, I mean, I think you have to go that direction. But we'll see. He's the general manager. I'm just a football guy.
And now a double pump, triple pump. That's a dangerous throw. Did he catch that ball? That's the valve again. And I think that he caught that football. Boy, think what a catch this would be.
He's a tough guy right here and reliable. Deshaun throws it away from the defender.
Oh my gosh, he caught that thing.
But again, that's a little thing. Instead of a 3rd and 10 here, we're sitting at 3rd and 4, so that's hidden yardage. But mark that down as a guy making a play in the 4th quarter in a crucial time of the game. Something that Hugh Jackson was looking for somebody to do this year. Right now, a bunch of guys are doing it right now for the Browns.
And there's no way you challenge that if you're Mike McCarthy. You have one timeout left. You challenge it and lose, you have none left. What a throw by Kaiser. Now the Packers are saying that ball was not caught by Njoku.
Let's take a look.
And this is where the pressure, the Browns are going to get him up to the line of scrimmage quickly. And now the challenge flag has been thrown.
Can't see from that angle if that ball comes loose or not. Now the Packer defenders were immediately calling for that.
Ruling on the field of a completed pass.
He's a big target out here as a tight end, working on Josh Jones, and a perfect throw.
It looked like that ball came out of there down at the bottom. Let's take a look on this angle. That's out of catch. And this will be a good challenge here, more than likely.
And Njoku's down there dancing around right there, and I think he's going to be disappointed when he finds out that the result, at least from the replay, I'm done predicting results, but from that one angle that we have, you're going to see the ball come out and hit the ground, and that's an incomplete pass right there.
Yep.
Josh Jones doing a good job of having his hand in there, stripping it away from Njoku, who's a good young rookie. He's only going to get better and better.
Now, if this is overturned, it'll be a 4th down and 4. Obviously, the Browns would punt. It goes to show you the play before, and you know, look, it's always easy to pick apart coaching decisions, and we all do it, and fans do it. But on the play before, Mike McCarthy decides not to challenge. Wasn't worth it, right? If he challenges and he would have lost the challenge, he would have been out of timeouts and would have had no more challenges.
Yeah. And a lot of times where he makes his decision, everybody's got a guy in the booth, right? But the players, the play before was a great catch by
After
DeVal.
doing the play, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down and 4 at the 37-yard line. And the Green Bay has not charged a timeout.
See, I don't know if Green Bay wins this game or not, but those last 2 plays, that is big-time coaching right there. Decision-making by McCarthy.
And he got an assist from his players, too, because his players were absolutely adamant about that ball being incomplete and hitting the ground.
All right. So now Trevor Davis will wait as the Packers are going to get it back one more time, it appears.
The other thing, too, Mike McCarthy told us yesterday that Brett Hundley has played his best ball in the 4th quarter in crunch time.
There's no doubt. There is no doubt about that. And we have seen it over the last 3 weeks. They added 13 seconds to the clock. So 2:57 to go. And now the punt by Colquitt. He has been laser sharp here today, and this is Davis at the 10. And now cuts it back the other way, and look out. Davis across the 20, the 30, the 40, across midfield with a punter to beat, and still on his feet all the way down to the Cleveland 25-yard line. Deion King, a touchdown-saving tackle after a 65-yard return.
Yeah, almost out-kicked the cliche, out-kicked the coverage. He did a little bit right here, but missed tackles in space. You lost contain on the outside, Trevor Davis. We talked about it in our meetings. He's explosive in the return game. And he puts the Packers in position to tie this one up.
Well, now the Packers at the 25-yard line. Everybody standing here in Cleveland. A lot of Packer fans here, and the Brownie faithful wondering, can their team win a game? And there's a missed sack by Nassib. And it turns into a 5-yard run by Huntley.
So McCarthy said this guy's been playing the best in this fourth quarter. Hugh Jackson said somebody's got to make a play in the fourth quarter. Nassib has a chance to make a play. Nobody's more frustrated than he is, but that's what Huntley brings to you, a strong runner to be able to avoid a big loss.
I mean, you look at 3 big drives over the last 3 weeks for Huntley. He had the game-winning drive against Chicago as they handed to Williams. And he's very close to a first down, needed to get to the 15. The huge return by Davis. And the Pack banging on the door to try and tie it. Cleveland 1-30 in their last 31 games, the worst 31-game stretch in NFL history. Over the 30 games, they've had 2 head coaches, Mike Pettin and Hugh Jackson. 7 different starting quarterbacks. At 0-12, only 4 teams in the history have gone winless in an entire year. Most recently, the 0-16 2008 Detroit Lions. They do still lead in this game. 21-14, 3rd down and a yard, and Huntley will get the first. You know, we're talking about Huntley. We were there for the game-winning drive against Chicago. He had the tying drive against Pittsburgh before Roethlisberger won it for the Steelers. And then the game-winning drive last week in overtime, 8 plays, 72 yards. A lot of it coming with him running the football.
In the fourth quarter, you absolutely have to be aware of Brett Hundley running the football, not only any type of zone read type runs, but also obviously the scramble.
Well, they have burned a lot of time after that 1-yard run. They huddled up. Now they're going to throw it. Quick slant to Devontae Adams. He's dropped it to 10. And you can say, well, you have all the time in the world. With 1 timeout and basically a rookie quarterback on the field, you don't have all the time in the world. As they will now burn easily another 15 to 20 seconds by huddling up.
You see, right there, usually if he's in the ball game, he's calling the plays in this situation in a hurry up. Aaron Rodgers.
Under a minute. Play fake. Throw it to Williams, and he is dropped, and they're going to have to spend a timeout here. So bring up 3rd down and 2. Or will they?
Still
no timeout.
There he is. Now he's
running.
getting it. Yeah, see that's you wasted what, 10 seconds on that?
You wasted a lot. I mean, the last 3 plays that they have run, I guarantee you when it comes out in the wash, that's going to be a good solid 35 seconds or maybe 25 seconds as they've huddled up twice and then waited a number of seconds before that timeout. All right, Chris, here we are now. You're 3rd down and 2. It's obviously 4-down territory. What are you looking for if you're the Cleveland defense right now, play calling wise?
Well, the one thing I'm doing is I'm protecting that end line, right? You don't want to fall off the cliff. So nothing right at the goal line. You want to defend short of that goal line. Make sure nothing over the top. I wouldn't be surprised here if Greg Williams brings the blitz. You force Brett Hundley to beat you with a tight throw. Now remember also, you're picking up the 12th defender. The back line of the end zone is your 12th defender, so that ball's got to get out in a hurry.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 2.
See, they're all defending the goal line right there. Don't fall off the cliff.
Packers out of timeouts. And Hundley in a quarterback draw. And he will get into the end zone.
No, short.
And it is a touchdown for Hundley.
Wow.
We mentioned now 4 weeks in a row. He got the big punt return from Davis that set it all up. But 4 straight weeks, this young quarterback, Hundley, has found a way to deliver the goods. Now, will this be challenged by, no, it's a scoring play, so it'll be automatically reviewed. It was scored and ruled a touchdown on the field. Oh, it looked like that knee may have been down.
Let's see, run that
before
back.
The ball hit the across the plane.
Knees down right there. I don't know where the ball is from that angle. We can't tell. Ball is short. Right there is the ball, so that should be placed inside the 1-yard line.
All right, Dean, quickly, we'll get to you because there's a chance if they overturn this call, they're going to start the clock and play right away, right?
Exactly. He's short. The right knee is down. The ball is short of the goal line. We're inside of 2 minutes. The ruling on the field was a stopped clock, touchdown. The reversal creates a running clock. We're going to run 10 seconds here and wind the clock on the ready. So Green Bay has to be ready to go after the decision.
So you're saying right now there's 31 seconds. They're going to rip off 10 seconds here, even
Correct.
though... Okay, all right. Dean Blandino, thank you very much. It does appear that that he did not get into the end zone, that knee being down before the ball broke the plane. And look, I mean, Mike McCarthy's all over. He's got his guys ready.
So Aaron Rodgers out there putting his advice into Brett Hundley. It'll be first down with 31 seconds left, so you have plenty of time. Jen, what do you have for us? Go ahead, Jen.
Tom, Aaron Rodgers is fun to watch right now. He is so anxious and into this game. He's clapping his hands along with the signal calls as if he's getting the snap. He knows it's do or die time right now, right here.
Because remember earlier this year that Detroit-Atlanta game where a similar kind of thing happened.
Right.
Golden Tate down, we mentioned earlier at the 1-yard line.
After reviewing the play,
Here we go.
the runner was down short of the goal line.
All right, so they're going to hurry in the line of scrimmage. They're going to spike the ball.
Please reset the game clock to 33 seconds. Okay, this calls for a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 23 seconds.
All right, so...
And we're going to wind it on my ready. Thank you.
So they put it to 23. So instead of 31, it was 33, down to 23. All right, here we go now. You probably have time for 2 more plays.
You're going to get the spike. You should get the spike right here.
They may run it. We'll see. It's first and goal. They'll start the clock immediately on the whistle. And here they go. They're going to throw it to the end zone. And it is a touchdown to Devon Adams. Devontae Adams into the end zone. Devontae Adams, money. And now an all-important point after to try and tie the game.
What a throw by Brett Hundley. Beautiful. Devontae Adams very patient before breaking it out. And this is what we talk about, throwing a guy open. Because McCourty's inside and on top of him, it's the automatic back shoulder throw. Automatic, just by position of the wide receiver, Devontae Adams, Hundley, reading the position of McCourty, he knows to put that ball on the outside edge. And Mason Crosby for the big extra point to tie it.
All right, good snap, good hold, and it is good. So the huge punt return by Trevor Davis. And for the 4th consecutive week, as we welcome those of you that have watched Dallas defeat the New York Giants by a final score of 30-10. All the talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back next week, when one thing cannot be denied about Brett Hundley. And that is for 4 straight weeks, this young man, when his team has needed him the most, the win over Chicago, the game-tying drive to lose to the Steelers in the final seconds 2 weeks ago. Last week in overtime, taking his team down the field to score a touchdown to win it. And now, although on a short field after the big return, leads his team to a game-tying touchdown.
The interesting thing in the meeting yesterday with Coach McCarthy, Coach, what does Brett Hundley do well for you? And he said this without hesitation. He's been big in big moments. Might not have been the prettiest thing leading up, but in the 4th quarter, he's been huge for us, and he was huge today. Now can they finish?
All right, now the pendulum swings the other way. As the ball will come out to the 25-yard line. For those of you just joining us, it's the 2nd time all year long the Browns had a lead at halftime. Packers scored on their first possession, and their offense disappeared. Josh Gordon, a beautiful touchdown reception. And the Browns took a 14-7 lead into halftime on the pitch to Duke Johnson. That lead went to 21-7. on the touchdown by Coleman. But the Packers with 2 touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. They get Williams on the run. The big punt return by Davis setting the stage for the Devontae Adams touchdown reception. Crowd booing. But they're going to take a knee and take their chances of headed to overtime.
So one mindset you have to worry about as we look at the overtime rules that the Browns say, get over there. It's a new beginning. This isn't going to happen to us again. That's tied up. We had our chance. Now, how are you going to respond? You still have a chance to win this ball game and end this losing streak. It's your opportunity.
All right, so the coin toss determines possession. Same as the beginning of a game. The team that wins the coin toss will get to pick. Play for 10 minutes. And the game can, and they have, ended in a tie.
Packers. Like champions die hard.
All right, gentlemen, great job so far. We're going to play modified sudden death, maximum of 10 minutes. Both teams will have an opportunity to possess the ball. 2 timeouts each, and all replays are upstairs. Any questions? You're still the visitors. What's your call? He's called tails. It is heads. You want the ball? Which way you want to kick? You got it.
Let's go.
Cleveland will receive in overtime. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, so the Browns will get the football. Still in search of their first win of the year. For the hometown Cleveland Browns, their fans, they've not tasted victory since Christmas Eve of last year. They led for the first time today at the end of 3 quarters all year long. But the Packers score 14 unanswered to tie the game, and we are underway in overtime. Browns won the toss, get the football, and to clarify what Bill Vinovich, our referee, said to the captains, if the Browns score a touchdown on this first possession, the game is over. If they kick a field goal, Green Bay will get the ball. Williams, 3rd straight game of over 100 yards from scrimmage. Hundley, clutch in the 4th quarter. Kaiser has had his best day as a pro. In 1-possession games this year, Green Bay is 5-1, including 2-0 in overtime. They were winners in overtime last week against Tampa Bay.
I think eventually for the Browns to get involved here, this guy, number 12, Josh Gordon, has to get back with the offense.
Well for a yard on first down. Ahmad Brooks in on the stop. Gordon got off to a fast start. He had 2 huge catches on that first possession of the game, including the touchdown. He has only caught 1 pass ever since.
And it's been against the depleted secondary from the Green Bay Packers. Coming in, Kevin King out. House goes out with an injury. 2 of their best corners.
Well, they've had Demarius Randall following him ever since the first possession of the game. They lay it off to Crowell, and he is up to the 33, maybe the 34-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down, and let's call it a long 1, maybe a yard and a half. Hugh Jackson 1-27. The worst start with a team by any head coach in the history of the NFL. They won 1 game last year. They have not won a game this year. And for the Packers, desperately needing a victory to keep playoff hopes alive.
50-50.
Got Josh Gordon one-on-one away from trips. There it is.
3rd and 2. And now Kaiser in trouble. Is looking around. The ball is batted into the air. And it is. Is it intercepted? Josh Jones has the ball in his hands. And no signal given yet by the officials that it is an interception. Big pressure by Clay Matthews.
Stars making plays in the 4th quarter. It starts with this guy. First of all, Randall does a great job on Josh Gordon, who we circled because that's who Kaiser wanted to go to. And this is inexplainable to me. I don't know why in this situation you're just throwing the ball up for grabs. He panicked. That's a rookie panic move by DeShone Kizer. And it puts the Green Bay Packers in perfect position. Now the Browns defense has to step up and make their own play, but there was a complete panic on DeShone Kizer. Right there, Randall does a great job of being physical with Josh Gordon at the line of scrimmage. Kizer panics, throws it up for grabs, and it could be the end of the ball game. But somebody on the Browns defense can step up and make a play, just like Clay Matthews did with that pressure.
All right, so now the pendulum swings the other way. Kizer, who leads the NFL in turnovers, has just turned it over for the second time today. And it is indeed officially ruled an interception after the pressure by Matthews, and Josh Jones comes away with a pick. So now a field goal can win this game for Green Bay. The next score in this game wins the game.
This is the favorable side as the field goal as far as distance goes, too.
Welcome viewers of you watching the Bengals and the Bears, the Lions, a huge win today on the road in Tampa Bay, and now the Green Bay Packers down to the 37-yard line. Here's Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Packers must win here, of course, even more so because of the outcome of this one. Game tied at 21 when Matt Prater nails the 46-yard field goal. Lions win this one 24-21.
All right, Carissa, thank you very much. Green Bay hoping to have Aaron Rodgers back next week when they go and play the Carolina Panthers. 3 of the final 4 for these Packers will be on the road. But they're trying to get a win, and a field goal would win it here today. This is Williams, and he is short of a first down, getting it to the 34-yard line. It brings up 3rd down and 2. Mason Crosby, 5 career game-winning field goals in the 4th quarter or overtime. 1 game this year. That was to beat the Bengals all the way back in September.
Going this direction, he was good in warm-ups from 51, 52 yards. That's exactly where they are now if they do not gain a yard.
But that is the way the ball is traveling, as you mentioned earlier. We've said it the entire game, but for those just joining us, the direction the Packers are moving in right now, the ball has been flying that way, and now Green Bay will spend a timeout before 3rd and 2.
Timeout. Green Bay. 30-second timeout.
During the timeout, let's check in with Carissa back in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. You guys have a good game there. This is supposed to be a good one, you would imagine. The Eagles, who stayed out west after their loss to Seattle, taking on the Rams. You've got the number 1 and number 2 overall pick of last year's draft going up against each other. It's going to be a good one, Tom.
All right, Carissa, now for those who watch the Lions game, the Lions go to 7-6. The Falcons, that was a huge win they had against New Orleans a couple of nights ago. The Panthers have won their game defeating Minnesota, and Seattle will of course be playing here shortly in Jacksonville. That's a tough one, but the Packers trying to go to 7-6, and this is a 3rd down and 2.
You're going to see a lot of pressure here coming from Greg Williams. Man across the board, physical man coverage. Don't give him the gimme. Short route.
Going to throw it, and it is a 1st down reception made by Davante Adams.
Well, he's so strong inside. Working on McCourty right here. No help inside. You got to kind of protect that inside. Good push off and presence by Davante Adams, getting McCourty to lean outside, giving him an open lane to the inside slant. Hundley throws it low so he can protect McCourty from coming over the back to knock it away.
Hundley has had an outstanding game. He's run for 31. He's thrown for 237. A couple of touchdowns. Has not turned it over. First down at the 30. Low snap, and he was able to corral that. And is that a fumble? They were screaming on the field. That ball was fumbled. And apparently Williams did fumble it, but he covered it right back up. Ogunjobi may have stripped that thing away. And I'm not sure he did fumble. It's loose in there.
Yeah. He's lucky because he rolled. He didn't know where the ball was. Well, he was down, though. He was down. Then the ball comes out after he's down.
Right now you'd be looking at roughly a 45, 46-yard field goal attempt without any more yards on this drive. 2nd down and 9. They roll. They'll get more yards on the drive. That's Randall Cobb. to the 25-yard line and brings up third down. Now you'd be looking at a 42, 43-yard field goal try.
I think you run the ball with Jamal Williams. You ask your kicker where you want the ball placed and play it safe here. I don't think you put the ball in the air.
Third down has been a story here in the second half to keep drives alive. In the first half, Packers went 0 for 6 on third down. They're 7 of 9 in the second half. The Browns led this game 21-7 going into the fourth quarter. First time they had led at the end of 3 quarters all year. And now the Packers are going to spend their final timeout of this overtime. You're given 2 timeouts when you go into the overtime. And, you know, this is, we can sit here and talk about the heartache, and this game is not over. The Browns haven't lost this game yet. They would go to 0-13. They played well here today, no denying that. But for Brett Hundley, if he's able to pull this game off, even if Rodgers comes back next week, there have been people paying attention to this young man.
Yeah, he's getting better and he's getting more comfortable. And the Browns allowed it because they went up 21-7. Brett Hundley was very patient in hitting what the defense was giving him, the short routes down the field. Then they had some big plays, and when he made a clutch throw to Davante Adams with 23 seconds to go in the ball game, read the defensive back's angle, put the ball on the outside shoulder, and now what you do is set up Mason Crosby. Where's he want the football?
All right, so third down and 6. And they're going to throw it. Ooh, that's a dangerous throw, and it's a first down, and to the end zone. Davante Adams and the Packers have won it in overtime.
Or throw the quick screen. Why not? That's safe. Watch this. This is going to be a good job of these guys blocking for Davante Adams coming back in, and a perfect ball by Hundley. Jordy Nelson with a good block. Great call by Mike McCarthy.
Such an inspired performance by the Browns, but they come up short again. And the Packers' hopes alive for the postseason. The guys are standing by at the Coliseum in Los Angeles for America's Game of the Week.